The entire brain works with the body to coordinate strikes and to come up with different maneuvers and techniques to overcome one's opponent. So it is stupid for mental health to make the argument that someone like me needs an intervention and needs to be on their psych meds. Great warriors, with all due respect, shouldn't be told by people like her or people like him or people in their same political groups how to think and how to behave. These are simply beta sissies that have been ordered by corrupt governments. They have no right to tell people like me what to do in truth, only from the perspective of the corrupt law. So obviously it is evil people attempting to enforce their social norms and their laws on the guy who has it right. I gave him every opportunity in the world, and thousands of people came together to give me a hard time. I have 16 witnesses at this point that occurred. It's open and shut. You have no reason to doubt the top martial artist with 16 witnesses to his harassment, of his sanity or what's going on. Furthermore, when we look at the cortex, the primary motor cortex, the secondary motor area, the cerebellum, the hippocampus, the amygdala, the thalamus, the striatum, the gray matter of the brain, the white matter, the things I've gone over quite a bit in my videos, it makes it clear that we're talking about higher cognitive functioning, even in the face of drugging. Even right now, it is different than the videos I made before, because I'm fully aware of when I am irritated, when I am agitated, how it affects my behavior, and what are the root causes of this agitation and irritation. In this video, I will go over something that is so important to me. I put it in its own folder, a very kind of significant folder. The variations of the word sense and how their argument is nonsensical, and I'm someone who has honed his senses. Then I'll talk about how they've gone out of their way to make it in my best interest to die. Whether or not that is the conclusion I've come to, I am not at liberty to say, nor should I say, because these are the cowards who lie about everything and use your reaction to try to bring in more oppression. This is their MO. They have always done it this way. They are scum. We look at the idea of census. The word sense, from census. Of course, we get consensus. The pro's sense and his presence, which in this world of shallow scum was not appreciated. They don't understand the man they're dealing with. Even the word sensei, the sense, the alpha. Why does he get respect? There's reason and sense. You sense in his movements that he has a certain proficiency and a certain mental prowess. Sense, sensitive, sensual. And I've gone over how their ideas of sex are nonsensical, basically a bunch of crazy people using the illusion, drugs, coercion, and so on and so forth, the circumstances of the situation of life to kind of trick other people into having sex with them. That's why it's consensual. There isn't a single word with the word con in it that doesn't reflect the fact that how it is more commonly used is in a way that is deceiving for the purpose of conning. Sensual itself, right? Scent. Essential. Senseless. Sensible. Essence. Obeisance, right? A bow of respect. Going back to the sensei. So what is sensei? Apprehended through the senses. Preoccupied with things. Sense modality. Sense datum, an immediate, unanalyzable private object of sensation. Senseful, reasonable, judicious. Judicious, like judgment. So if you don't have the sense to outmaneuver another person, how can you say your judgment is better? What is a more dramatic and unavoidable example of judgment than martial arts sparring? Someone who has been the best, okay, for many years now. At one point offered $100,000 to anyone who can beat him. and $4,000 for the most part for 4 years. It is insane to pretend that he is insane. He put his money where his mouth is to prove his higher sense and his right to be seen as the ideal man, and he proved it. Who doesn't concede? How far should women go to win his love, especially when he calls on them in the name of the Creator, in the name of sense, in the name of reason, to put behind their cowardice, their selfishness, sell fish. They sell fish. I am Horus. I am the great fisherman, so to speak, for you bitches who lack the sense to understand the nature of martial arts communication and to reveal that which is obscured. The occultists are sages and mages and magic card bitches who wish they were martial artists, who have designed a system where they sleep with women who are seen as more genetically close to martial artists to then try to have their children be able to see what the martial artist is seeing. But no, you cannot see it with ill-gotten gains and the dumb whores who are dumb enough to sleep with cowards like you. You will never see it. You have my word on that. Senseful. Reasonable, judicious. Sense organ, a bodily structure that receives a stimulus as heat or sound waves and is affected in such a manner as to initiate a wave of excitation in associated sensory nerve fibers which convey specific impulses to the central nervous system where they are interpreted as corresponding sensation. Sense organ. In a sense, the brain, obviously, is a sense organ. Okay? It is receiving things, a stimulus, one way or another. And it is conveying what it is receiving. So that's what sparring shows. Spirit, convey the spirit that you're in, which is superior to the philosophy that has created these spirits that other peoples are in. And it is a generational thing that comes from a culture that is meant to be for you. You are not in that spirit so you can pretend someone else should be above you. You are there to marshal in the name of the Lord. And he who does not submit is an idiot, is senseless, has a nonsensical philosophy. And so it is with her. And she has more of a reason because she is the one who carries the child. She is said to be the more emotional sex. She should receive your masculine energy and be aware of who you are. When women shun the top martial artists, it is because they are sick, delusional, and nonsensical. If men fail to stand with them, it is for a similar reason. Nobody is qualified to determine and to judge and to diagnose my mental state. They don't have the sense or the reason. And certainly, they aren't brave enough. The heart is the seat of intelligence. When you see things for what they truly are in great detail, it is impossible to turn your back on the right thing. So if you claim to be knowledgeable and wise, you aren't. You just happen to see it somewhat. You don't truly see it and sense it and truly detect it for what it is. Sensibilia, what may be sensed. Sensibility. Now listen carefully. Sensibility. 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 Ability to receive sensations. Number one, your ability to receive sensations. She's not sensible. She's not a sensible mate. That's not a sensible solution. Number two, peculiar susceptibility to a pleasurable or painful impression. What the Lord wants you to sense and feel, right? It is a sensible versus malfunction. It is sensible when you can prove it through sparring. Period. Number three, awareness of and responsiveness towards something as emotion in another. Aware and responsive. Is it or? Can it be without responsiveness? With the accompanying behavior? No woman is sensible if she doesn't submit herself to me in a world of nonsense and delusion where I am the only sane person, sensible person. I am not just the representative of God and the pinnacle of the divine order. I am the paragon of masculinity and sense and wisdom. Number 4, refined or excessive sensitiveness in emotion and taste with a special responsiveness to the pathetic. Refined or excessive. Excessive to who? Some Nancy boy coward? Sensitiveness in emotion and taste with especial responsiveness to the pathetic. The world is pathetic. It is pathetic to be sick and to refuse to be cured. It is more pathetic to insist that the top martial artist that you can't spar for $100,000 or find anyone to beat him and needs to be addressed by you. Who are you? You studied the oppressor's neo-colonialist system of psychology and control, and you think that qualifies you to diagnose my mental state? You are senseless and a coward. How can you judge that which is divine? And of course, I've proven it definitively to the spiritual person. And I've proven it to be the logical assumption to the scientific person. What more needs to be said? Sensible in the archaic sense was perceptibly large and considerable. This had everything to do with Narmer being portrayed as taller. Right? Tall, tail, backwards, wordplay applied, light. One does not make a light and put it under a bed and make them tall. But do they have to be a tree? Have to be an elephant? A giraffe? No. More like long like the leopard. DNA, backwards is and. It also is wordplay applied, end. It ends when I die. My DNA is gone. I have not reproduced someone and forged them with the conveyance of the Spirit. There is no more connecting to God. There's no more sense. B, receptive to external influences, sensitive. The most sensible reaches of the Spirit was the example it gave. Can you imagine these eBirds who made this dictionary? And they don't understand that you're talking about martial artists here, not magic card, little wand-waving sissies. We're not talking about Mickey Mouse. We are talking about true sensibility, not illusion. Emotionally aware and responsive. Sensillum, a simple epithelial sense organ in the form of a spine, plate, rod, and or peg that is composed of one or a few cells with a nerve connection. Sensitive information, for example, a person having occult or physical abilities. Okay, this is the definition in Webster's. Sensitive plant, leaves fold or droops when touches. Sensual is seen as worldly. That's how the West defines the word sensual, even though it has the word sense in it. You gotta love that. In a predominantly Christian society, this is their definition. Sentence, sententia, feeling, opinion, centennial function, an expression that contains one or more variables and becomes a declarative sentence when constants are substituted for variables. Sententious, full of meaning, terse, aphoristic, or moralistic, an expression, pithy. Epigrammatic, concise, witty, often paradoxical expression is what epigrammatic means. Sentinence, feeling or sensation, as distinguished from perception or thought. Sentient, sentine or to perceive, feel. Responsible to or conscious of sense, impressions, aware, finely sensitive in perception or feeling, sentiment, an attitude, thought, or judgment prompted by feeling, a specific view or notion, opinion, a delicate sensibility, especially as expressed in a work or of art, emotional idealism, a romantic or nostalgic feeling urging on sentimentality, an idea colored by emotion.